Okay, here we go. German chocolate cake, the icing. Now the cake, I just used 2 boxes of regular chocolate cake out of the store. I didn't make the cake from scratch. Okay, this video is not about the cake, it's about the icing. Alright, so what I had there was 6 egg yolks, 2 cups of sugar. 1 cup was brown sugar with a little bit of white sugar on top. I didn't have enough to make a whole cup of brown sugar. So anyway, it's 2 cups of sugar, one brown, 1 white. It could be all white if you want, or it could be all brown. It's up to you. 1 cup of butter. Okay, now here's the problem. The butter was frozen. So this recipe is very simple. It's very easy if your butter's not frozen. What you do is you put everything in the pot and you start cooking it. But since the butter was frozen, I had to thaw the butter out, which is what I'm doing here with the evaporated milk. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that to the egg yolks and sugar, and then add the egg yolks and sugar back into the milk. All right, if the butter wasn't frozen, this would be 1, 2, 3. You know, everything goes into the pot. Now what I have here is 6 egg yolks, 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of evaporated milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That goes in at the very end. 2 2/3 cups of coconut, and 2 cups of pecans. Okay, forget all the coconut and pecans and vanilla right now. All I'm doing now is I'm going to boil the evaporated milk, the sugar, and the egg yolks, and the butter. Alright, now once this comes to a boil, you have to stir it constantly because of the egg yolks. And what you want to do is you want to cook it for about 5 minutes. There it goes. Okay, now it's boiling now. You have to keep stirring it. And it's going to cook for about 5 minutes. 5 or 6 minutes. Alright, it's going to look very thin. You know, it's not going to look thick like you think it would. It's going to look thin. But there's 3 things going on here. There's the thickening of the egg yolks. There's the butter that once the mixture is put on top of the cake and it starts to cool, the butter combines and adds some thickness to it. And then the sugar. You know, when you boil sugar, depending on how high the temperature is going to determine what the sugar is going to do. In other words, if you want to make caramel, you don't boil the sugar to a hard crack stage. You only boil it to a caramel stage, which is less temperature than a hard crack. A hard crack is a very high temperature. So anyway, 5 or 6 minutes on the stove here. Then take it off the stove. I put it into this bowl because the pot was too small. All this other stuff wouldn't fit. Okay, there go the pecans. You can see how thin it looks. It looks very thin. Here comes the coconut. 2 cups and, I don't know, 2.5. You know, this isn't rocket science. It doesn't really, you know what I mean? You could add a little less or a little more. It's totally up to you. Okay, and then the vanilla is going to go in here in a second. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Then what you do is you bake your cakes, take your cakes out of the oven. When they cool, then you just pour this on top and smear it around, and that's it. Put it in the fridge. Like I said, you have 3 thickening agents going here. You've got the egg yolks, you've got the sugar, and you've got the butter. And when it starts to get cold, everything's going to start to get nice and thick. And it'll be wonderful. You will love it. Okay, here it is again. It's 6 egg yolks, 2 cups of sugar, brown and white. You can mix them. 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of evaporated milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 2/3 cups of coconut, and 2 cups of pecans. There it is. It's ready to go on the cake. All you got to do is cool the cake a little bit. Don't put it on the cake if it's too hot. It's going to get too runny. Let the cake cool a little bit, and you've got a nice German chocolate cake. Oh, and in case I forget, it doesn't get any better than this. See ya.